I've been having a headache for over 2 weeks, and I ended up going into the hospital yesterday because the headache was so bad right after I filmed the pod. And they found that I have 2 brain tumors that need to be removed, which are getting done today.
There's not many ex-husbands or future ex-husbands who are going to nurse you back to life, take you to workouts, help give you confidence, and make sure that you're safe.
Welcome back to Celebrity News Addict. Today, we'll be diving into all the latest updates surrounding ex-Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Teddi Mellencamp. Following the announcement of her divorce from her soon-to-be ex-husband Edwin Arroyave back in November last year, 2025 has been off to a rough start for Teddi. In this video, we'll get into all the latest news surrounding Teddi's recent health struggles, from being diagnosed with melanoma back in 2022 to learning she has multiple brain tumours this February, and going on to receive yet another heartbreaking and shocking health update just a few days ago. Plus, we'll be covering how all of this has impacted her 13-year marriage with Edwin and the current status of their impending divorce following multiple cheating rumours on both sides, with some sources reporting that divorce is still going ahead and others suggesting it's on pause. We'll be giving you the truth about what's really going on in Teddi's marriage. Divorce and health struggles are some of the toughest things a person can go through in their lifetime, and Teddi is battling them both at once. So please be kind in the comments. We've got a lot to cover, so let's dive right in. Before we get into all the latest information on Teddi's divorce and health updates, let's first rewind back to November 2024 and the scandal surrounding the breakdown of her marriage to Edwin. I did a complete deep dive into this at the end of last year, so if you haven't watched that yet, the link will be in the description for you to go and check it out. But for now, I'll just do a quick recap so we're all up to date. So, Teddi and Edwin met in a Hollywood nightclub back in 2009 and were married just a couple of years later in July 2011 in a ceremony in Indiana. During their 13-year marriage, the couple have welcomed 3 kids into their family: Slate, 12, Cruz, 10, and Dove, 5. After getting married, the couple kept to themselves for a while, until 2017 when Teddi joined season 8 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. During Teddi's time on The Housewives, from season 8 to season 10, her marriage went through some rough patches. In an episode of her podcast, 2 T's in a Pod with Tamra Judge from March 2023, Teddi spoke on her first few days filming and hiding her marital struggles from the other housewives, saying, quote, "When we first started, I remember my first date. It was like, fuck, at what point do I tell everybody that I'm getting a divorce? Like, when do I do this?" And in another episode, which aired in October 2023, Teddi hinted that Edwin had cheated, saying, quote, "For years, I had so much resentment towards Edwin, and it was to the point where I couldn't even look at him. Once you've been burned, it's hard to come back from that." When co-host Tamra Judge pushed to find out if Teddi was suggesting Edwin had cheated on her, Teddi kept it vague, saying, "Let me just say, you get more controlling and more guarded when your family is involved." However, just a few months later, in July 2024, Teddi and Edwin celebrated their 13th wedding anniversary publicly on Instagram for the world to see. Pause now to read their posts. Then, in another whiplash-inducing U-turn, Teddi officially filed for divorce from Edwin on November 1st, 2024, citing irreconcilable differences and putting an end to their 13-year marriage. At the time, a source told the US Sun that the divorce was, quote, 100% Teddi's decision, and it took a long time, a really long time, and a lot of pain for years for her to decide that this is what was best for her and the kids. In her filing, Teddi requested primary physical and legal custody of their 3 children, giving Edwin reasonable and frequent visitation. She also requested spousal support and wanted to block the court's ability to award Edwin spousal support from her. In an effort to protect her family from speculation and rumours, Teddi went on to announce her divorce on Instagram on November 2nd, the day after she filed. Teddi's statement said, quote, "After a great deal of care and consideration, I have made the difficult decision to file for divorce. My priority is my children and ensuring that every care is taken with their privacy and well-being throughout this new chapter." It continued, quote, "Making a public statement is not something I wanted to do, but in an effort to protect my family from undue speculation and rumours, I felt being open, honest and vulnerable was the best path forward." The following day, Edwin posted this photo at the gym to his Instagram story with the caption, quote, "You're not always going to be motivated or inspired. That's where rituals and habits come in. Having good habits is what will get you through your dark days. It's when you're under pressure that your true character is revealed." This obviously had people speculating that he was struggling since the divorce filing. Then, on November 5th, Teddi spoke about the divorce on 2 Teas in a Pod, claiming she wasn't ready to share the full story publicly yet. Let's have a quick reminder.
At this point, I'm, obviously only going to share what I shared on social media. As being somebody who recaps other people's things, don't be a hypocrite, Teddi. But when it does come to this and children, I think there's just
it's
room
a little
to
bit
give
different than what somebody's doing on a reality show.
Yeah.
And on November 8th, Edwin submitted his response to Teddi's filing, in which he said that they have a prenup which states that they should both receive joint custody over their children, and each of their assets and any income they have made is their own separate property. So neither of them should owe the other spousal support. He added for good measure that if one of them were to owe the other, Teddi would owe him. At the same time as the legal battles, the internet was waging a war of its own, as on November 7th, Tumor announced on her podcast that she had received multiple DMs that Teddi was having a long-term affair with her married horse trainer, and that when the horse trainer's wife had learned of their secret relationship, she had a, quote, all-out brawl with Teddi at a public horse show in mid-September. This was later verified by multiple sources who confirmed that Teddi had been having an affair with her trainer, Simon Schroeder, since May 2024, even traveling to Florida together for an equestrian event while Simon's partner was in labor back in California with the pair's second child. Allegedly, Edwin was the last to learn of the affair on October 31st, the day before Teddi filed for divorce. But this scandal wasn't one-sided, as Tumor also added, quote, allegedly, Edwin was cheating on Teddi. From the sound of it, Teddi knew to some extent and they were working through it. So to see this is not shocking and sounds like Teddi just had enough. Right, we're almost at the end of the recap, as on November 13th, Teddi was photographed with large bags saying goodbye to Edwin outside their family home as she looked to be moving out. And on November 14th, Page 6 revealed that Edwin had allegedly had an affair with a woman that Teddi knew between 2015 to 2016, which lasted between 6 months to 1 year. According to the report, Teddi learned of the affair in March 2016, just as she was auditioning for The Real Housewives, but had decided to forgive Edwin and work through things for the sake of the family. However, seeing fellow housewife Kyle Richards' public divorce play out allegedly gave Teddi the confidence to finally break things off with Edwin, as a source told the US Sun, quote, I think once Kyle left Mauricio and got that empowered independence, it helped Teddi see the light of being like, oh, I can make these decisions no matter my age, even if I have kids, and it will still be okay. So, we're all up to date, as Teddi and Edwin's divorce seemed to drift out of the public eye at the end of last year. But the reality star was thrown right back into the chaos again on February 12th, 2025, when Teddi publicly shared news of her brain tumor diagnosis to Instagram in a post that read, quote, For the last several weeks, I've been dealing with severe and debilitating headaches. Yesterday, the pain was unbearable and required hospitalization. After a CT scan and MRI, doctors found multiple tumors on my brain, which they believe have been growing for at least 6 months. 2 of the tumors will be surgically removed today. The remaining smaller tumors will be dealt with via radiation at a later date. She continued, quote, I am blessed to be surrounded by my children, family, friends, doctors, nurses, and surgeons who are doing everything possible to get me back into better health. Thank you to everybody who has reached out and to everyone who has supported me along this journey. This was met with an overwhelming outpouring of support from fans and other Bravo celebrities. And despite their impending messy divorce, Edwin, Teddi's soon-to-be ex-husband, was also quick to show support and love for Teddi. On February 12th, the same day as Teddi's announcement and emergency surgery, Edwin shared a photo of himself at Teddi's hospital bed with the caption, quote, Jeremiah 17:14. Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved. For you are my praise. Lord, I lift up Teddi Mellencamp to you. You are the great healer, and I ask for your healing touch upon her body. Restore her strength, renew her spirit, and let her feel your comforting presence. Grant her peace, hope, and full recovery. In Jesus' name, amen. In another Instagram story, Edwin posted a short clip of the pair's youngest daughter, Dove, aged 5, asking if he was going to stay at the hospital with Teddi. To which Edwin replied, quote, yeah, this is my bed. This is where I sleep. While he panned the camera to show Teddi in her hospital bed. Edwin has continued to post updates about Teddi's health and been a major rock for her during this time. Also on the same day as Teddi's public health announcement, February 12th, RHOBH, Teddi's co-host of 2 Ts in a Pod, also made a tearful statement about Teddi's, quote, brief sabbatical to deal with some health stuff. In this episode, Tamra played a pre-recorded message from Teddi where she spoke about the discovery of the tumors. Check this out.
Before we begin, maybe some of you have seen Teddi's Instagram stories. If not, I just want our listeners to know that she will be taking a brief sabbatical to deal with some health stuff. I'll allow Teddi to tell her story.
Welcome to another episode of 2 Ts in a Pod. I am fine. I've been having, as you guys have heard, if you listen to the pod, I've been having a headache for over 2 weeks. And I ended up going into the hospital yesterday because the headache was so bad right after I filmed the pod. And they found that I have 2 brain tumors that need to be removed, which are getting done today, or if you're listening, which have gotten done today. And then I have 3 more smaller tumors that will most likely need to be removed with radiation. The only reason I'm even sharing this is because I don't want speculation on anything additional going on that isn't fact, and this is fact. And I feel really grateful that I've been able to have a conversation with my kids about this, that I'm sitting in the hospital with Edwin and my friends. And I'm feeling ready and positive for surgery. Stay tuned.
Following this episode, Tamra also took to X to share a photo of herself with Teddi, where she wrote, quote, please keep Teddi Mellencamp in your prayers. Love you, my friend. While it has also been reported that Kyle Richards and Morgan Wade have been to visit Teddi both before and after her surgery, as a source revealed that Kyle has been, quote, by her side through it all and continues to check in on her daily. Then, on February 26th, Teddi shared another update onto her Instagram, explaining more detail about what had happened and thanking fans for their support. This post said, quote, I am so grateful for the incredible surgeons, doctor, and nurses who made my surgery a success and my recovery process comfortable. In full transparency, more tumors were removed than expected, 4 in total. This fight is not over, but that round has been won. The laughter, support, and patience of my kids, my family, and my closest friends is one gift with which words cannot properly express my gratitude. As I move on to the next steps in my treatment, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for the outpouring of love and prayers. I see them and they're definitely helping me stay strong. But sadly, this most recent diagnosis isn't Teddi's first health scare, as back in 2022, Teddi was diagnosed with stage 2 skin cancer, also known as melanoma. Since her first diagnosis, Teddi has been very open about her journey on social media, documenting how she has undergone multiple surgeries and had more than 12 melanomas removed. In fact, in December 2023, Teddi revealed on Instagram that she was recovering from a wide excision melanoma and a soft tissue defect reconstruction, a procedure where affected skin from her shoulder was removed and replaced with a flap of skin from her back. In honor of World Cancer Day on February 4th, 2025, Teddi shared an image of a large zigzag scar from this surgery alongside a reminder in the caption for all of her followers to get regular skin checks and a clip from an interview she did on the Him and Her Show podcast on February 2nd, 2025, just a few days before receiving her most recent diagnosis. In this clip, she discussed her full melanoma journey, including how Kyle was influential in her diagnosis back in 2022. Let's take a quick look at the clip as a reminder.
I had this ginormous patch on the back of my shoulder that I always kind of had.
Like, how big are we talking? I'm sorry, just for context.
Probably like this. I was born with it. And then I started getting these, like, I don't know, they almost looked like sunspots. I guess it was 3 years ago. I was on a run with Kyle and our friend Jen, and they were like, Teddi, the things on your back, you're going to the doctor. I didn't take it seriously. Plus, I didn't know that skin cancer was a big deal. So I went and immediately she's like, well, one, you're going to need to go to an oncologist, but like, I'm going to cut this one out and
that's terrifying.
we're going to start this process. And then pretty much throughout the next 3 years, I think I've had over 20 surgeries.
So, following her emergency surgery on February 12th, on March 5th, Teddi was allowed to go home. In an emotional Instagram story, Teddi filmed herself in the car on the journey home from hospital, where she sang along to Coming Home and wrote, quote, 16 days and I get to go home. Thank you to all my loves and lifesavers for getting me to this day. And although things were looking up for a time, sadly, more bad news was right around the corner, as only a few days ago, on March 7th, Teddi shared another alarming update on Instagram, revealing that she has multiple brain tumours that weren't fully removed and 2 more tumours in her lung, which are secondary malignant growths, known as metastases of her melanoma from 2022. The post stated, quote, update from my scans today. I have multiple tumours in my brain that weren't able to be removed via surgery. I also have 2 tumours in my lungs. These are all metastases of my melanoma. The doctors are hopeful that immunotherapy will effectively treat them. I am feeling positive that I will win this battle, that I got this wig, I like the short hair, just not the bald spots, and that I can remember all of Angelina's kids' names. Now, as Bravo Andy would say, with all due, F off cancer. Again, this post was met with an outpouring of love, with Kyle Richards commenting, quote, the best moment, right after your surgery, when you weren't quite sure what year it was. And I said, but I bet she can name all of Angelina Jolie's kids' names. And you did. While Tamra Judge commented, quote, you are gonna kick cancer's ass. You are the strongest person I know. Cancer F all the way off. And it seems Teddi has continued to stay strong and keep to her regular routine as much as possible. As on March 8th, just one day after this second diagnosis, Teddi filmed herself taking part in a dressage horse riding event, marking her first time riding in 4 weeks. She wrote, quote, first ride in 4 weeks. I am so blessed. She followed this up with a photo of 2 show ribbons and the caption, quote, dear brain tumours, you tried to break my heart. you failed. I love life too much to waste more tears on you. Earlier that day, she had reflected on how horse riding has helped her amid her cancer journey. Teddi mentioned that she had unknowingly ridden with brain tumors for 6 months before her surgery and emphasized the importance of mental health when dealing with illness, stating, "I must keep going and give myself joy and goals." Then, on Monday, March 10th, Edwin, who has continued to publicly support Teddi and look after her during this heart-wrenching and terrifying time, shared the following video to his stories, where he expressed how proud he was of Teddi for getting back to Barry's boot camp. So now we're at the part you've all been waiting for. What is really going on in this messy divorce battle? Since Teddi's diagnoses, sources have gone back and forth over whether Teddi and Edwin's divorce is on or off. As early as February 18th, just 6 days after Teddi's first announcement, the Daily Mail reported that, quote, "Divorce is currently off the table, with Edwin's focus instead on helping Teddi to recover." The article quotes an inside source who stated, quote, "Right now, Edwin's focus is on her recovery and the divorce is off the table." They added, "It is no longer being discussed. His concern is that she gets better." However, the source did state that, quote, "They currently have no plans to get back together romantically." The following day, on February 19th, another source told the US Sun, quote, "Teddi has gone through a lot before, but this is the most painful ordeal she and her family has had to go through. She's being the strongest woman, well, because she's strong, but also for her kids. She has been their rock even though she's going through this." They added, quote, "Edwin has been helping too. He and Teddi put all their hostility aside for now to get through this as a family and do what's best for the kids. There was a moment where he was terrified of losing her. It really put everything into perspective." However, the insider was quick to add, quote, "There will always be love. They will always do what's best for the kids. But none of this is a sign they are getting back together. Edwin's primary focus is Teddi's health right now and taking care of the kids." So that was a pretty clear message from these inside sources. But with both Teddi and Edwin posting multiple photos and videos supporting and thanking each other, there was still speculation that the divorce was off. To set the record straight once and for all, on March 10th, just a couple of days ago, Teddi shared an update in the car with Edwin as he was driving her home from her first training session at Barry's boot camp since her surgery. In this post, Teddi thanks Edwin and refers to him as her ex-husband, and then corrects herself and calls him her future ex-husband, and thanks him for taking care of her over these last few weeks. Edwin also went on to share this to his Instagram story, as though in confirmation. Check it out.
I have to give one big shout out to a person. Edwin!
Hello, yeah?
There's not many ex-husbands or future ex-husbands who are going to nurse you back to life, take you to workouts, help give you confidence, and make sure that you're safe and doing well, and he has taken such excellent care of me. I am so grateful, and every day I start to feel more like myself, and a huge part of that is because Edwin has been so kind and taken such wonderful care of me. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
So, the evidence is clear to me that divorce is definitely still on the table. Although, with Teddi being told that her recovery could be a years-long process, it's unclear when exactly the pair will go their separate ways. Perhaps this change in circumstances will lead to the couple being more amicable and compromising with each other when the time for divorce does roll around. They've clearly been able to put their differences aside in this terrifying time, so maybe what was once looking to be a messy divorce won't be so messy after all. Situations like this sadly do put other, more material things into perspective and might give Teddi a different outlook on her request for primary custody too. So that's the timeline of events up until the date of recording on March 11th. It's been a bit of a heavy one today, so thanks for sticking with me until the end if you made it this far. I really felt this was an important story to tell and an important reminder that our bodies are fragile. What do you guys think? Will Teddi and Edwin get divorced? Will this awful situation bring them back together? I look forward to hearing all your thoughts in the comments below. And whatever happens, I wish Teddi a speedy recovery back to full health. And as always, if you haven't already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more reality TV news and updates as they happen. Thanks for watching.